Happiness is not something that we can acquire. Instead, it is something that we become. It is about being the right kind of person. There are several ways one can attempt to find happiness. You can try to pursue it through materials. You can try to look for it in comparative advantage among your peers. You can look for it in doing good for others. But most of all, the best way to find happiness is to find it through God. The reason why we have to find happiness in God is that the other ways of finding happiness have many disadvantages and flaws. For example, material happiness is extremely temporary and shallow. Happiness from comparative advantage is unstable. If there is failure, it often leads to self worthlessness and unhappiness instead. But happiness in finding God is special. We find it through a journey where we see God in beauty, truth, and love. And as the journey may be difficult, it is the most rewarding. As long as our aim is to serve God and His ultimate plan, then our lives will be purposeful and filled with joy. One primary example of this is Saint Augustine, who was a very influential Christian philosopher. He was constantly restless. He tried to find happiness in lust, materials, and success, but this couldn't satisfy him. Soon, when he found his way and rested his heart in God, he found that there is no fulfillment, beauty, pleasure, love, or ambition without God. So, recently I ate at this restaurant, and if you looked there at the bar area, you would see all of these ads that had the slogan, "Don't be a maybe, be Marlboro." If you're familiar with this, it actually came from Marlboro, the cigarette company. These ads actually originated from Germany, but it was banned there. So they moved the ad campaign to countries like the Philippines and Indonesia. So a few things about these ads. They're obviously aimed towards a more youthful audience. It takes advantage of their goals and aspirations and tells them, hey, don't be a maybe. Say yes. You have to say yes to peer pressure and smoke our cigarettes because if you don't, you will never reach the top. So we, people, do have our needs and desires. We have the need for spirituality, relationships, knowledge, and etc. Also, we do have our material needs. But among these material needs is not cigarettes. Advertising and consumerist culture creates more needs and desires. These are additional desires that actually aren't real necessities. Among these is the fabrication that we need cigarettes to be able to achieve. Advertising also aims to set a standard. It makes people feel the need for material things to fit in, look good, or even to like themselves. Knowing all this, we are aware that advertisements and consumerism do cause very major problems in the pursuit of happiness. Instead of devoting our lives to obtaining material things, instead, we should be like St. Augustine. He had found his way from the depths of unfulfilling pleasures, and instead found great joy in God. We have to be sure that our priority is God above all other things. So now, maybe, instead of don't be a maybe, be Marlboro, we should say, don't be a maybe, be happy in God.